Hola, everybody. We have something special today. Let me tell you who I am. I am Dr. Naeema. We are live on Instagram, Dr. underscore Naeema underscore. And we'll be posting this on Instagram. No. It'll be posted on Instagram, but it'll also be posted on YouTube. On my YouTube channel is Dr. Naeema Giving Hope. So I have something special today. It was heavy on my heart to give some information about what's going on. Boogie, give some information about what's going on, my stance and how I can help out our country in this moment. I have a guest host with me. Her name is Stephanie Samuels. I call her Steffi. She's my little cousin, and she'll be hosting as we share very important information about how to cope in today's climate. Okay, so welcome everybody who's watching. If you have questions, please hold them to the end. Stay tuned because I will be here to help answer any questions to the best of my ability. Just know that I'm perfectly imperfect. That means I'm imperfect. Okay, I don't know everything, but I will share how I live my life and how I lead. Okay. So, welcome guest host Stephanie. You guys won't see her on Instagram, but you can see her on YouTube when you tune in. But she'll be asking me questions and guiding this interview, and then I'll be answering questions they are very important. So, thank you, Steffi. Turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here. So, welcome to another episode of Finding Strength in Faith, the podcast that explores how we can hold on to hope and resilience in challenging times. I'm your guest host, Stephanie, and today we're diving into a conversation that's more than relevant, it's necessary. We're talking about the growing fears of people are facing today, from the fear of deportation and family separation, the fear of flying, and ever increasing anxiety about the civil rights and safety. In times like these, it's easy to feel overwhelmed with anger and hatred and uncertainty. But we must remember that God is still the Alpha and the Omega.
Mm.
To guide us through these turbulent times, I'm honored to be here with our co-host, Dr. Naeema. Dr. Naeema is a renowned clinical psychologist, author, and spiritual leader whose guidance has helped countless individuals find mental and emotional resilience, especially when facing systematic fear and oppression. She'll be sharing her wisdom on how we can maintain our mental fortitude, take a stand, and navigate the challenges we're facing, all while grounding ourselves in faith. So let's start. And Dr. Naima, will you start with an introduction? And thank you again for having me here.
Well, again, thank you so much for being present for this, everybody. And Steffi, thank you so much for jumping right in and doing this with me, to talk about these critical issues and offer some guidance to those who are struggling. We're living in times where fear can easily overwhelm us, but it's important to remember that there's always hope
Mm-hmm.
and strength no matter what. How dire things, no matter how dire things may seem.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think so many people are feeling that fear right now. The fear of losing a loved one to deportation, the fear of stepping on a plane. I have that fear personally. And the fear of where our civil rights may go. It's hard to not feel like the ground is shifting beneath our feet. But in the midst of this, people still have to keep moving forward. How do we even begin to find that inner strength when it feels like everything around us is unraveling?
You nailed it. So many people, Steffi, are afraid right now. They don't know which way to turn. They don't know how to react. There's a palpable anxiety in the air, and it's deeply rooted in the fear of losing control, whether it's over our safety, our rights, or our loved ones. But here's the truth: no matter how chaotic the world gets, we still have agency over one thing, and that's the way we respond. The way we respond to it. Faith has always been a central anchor for people facing adversity, and it remains that way today. When we understand that God is the Alpha and the Omega, that He is the beginning and the end, we can start to release the pressure that comes from trying to control every circumstance. Faith doesn't remove the fear, but it does shift our perspective on it. It helps
Mm.
us reframe what we're facing and empowers us to take action, not from a place of fear, but from a place of resilience.
That is such an important shift. Important point, shifting from fear to resilience. So, how do we practically maintain our mental fortitude when we feel constantly under threat?
Even with things that we experience every day outside of what we're experiencing now, we can feel that pressure. it's it starts with recognizing that fear is a natural emotion. We all feel it, especially in uncertain times. But the
Mhm.
difference between being overwhelmed by fear and maintaining mental fortitude is in how we process it. I recommend three key practices for navigating fear while staying grounded in faith. One, we have to acknowledge the fear, but don't let it define you. Acknowledge the fear, but don't let it define you. You're not weak for feeling fear, it's human. The key is to acknowledge it without allowing it to control our decisions and actions. When we feel afraid of deportation or of civil rights being threatened, it's okay to feel it. It's okay to feel it. But what we don't want is for that fear to dictate our every move. The fear of flying, for instance, is real, but you don't want it to keep you grounded in a place of paralysis. Instead, take it one step at a time. Recognize the fear, but allow faith and practical steps to guide you forward. Two, ground yourself in prayer and meditation. In times of fear, we often feel disconnected from God and from our inner peace. Prayer and meditation are ways to reconnect with both. Prayer isn't just about asking for protection, it's about affirming God's sovereignty. Meditation helps center your thoughts and allows you to release some of the stress and worry. Even 5 minutes a day of focusing on God's presence can make a significant difference in how we navigate the world around us. And sometimes, because of what's going on right now, it might be 5 times 5 minutes a day that you have
Mhm.
to meditate and remind yourself. And then the third way is take practical, empowered action. It's easy to feel helpless in the face of the larger issues like civil rights being under threat or families being torn apart. But we can take empowered action, every last one of us, no matter how small you might think it is.
Mhm.
Whatever it is, whether it's joining a community advocacy group, supporting those facing deportation, or educating ourselves and others about our rights. These actions remind us that we have a voice. It also gives us a sense of agency and control in a world that often feels chaotic.
I love that. I really do. I love that. Acknowledge, ground, and act. Simple but powerful. Now, you also mentioned that ideas of taking a stand, especially when so much anger and hatred are spewing around us. It's difficult to get caught up in the cycle, especially when you're feeling attacked or oppressed. How do we take a stand without losing to the anger?
That's the $1 million question, right? Huh? Anger is a natural, like we angry right now, y'all. I never in a million years would think that we would be in this place, and I think my friend said this last night. Like, I never thought I'd see this in my lifetime. I never expected this, never. Um, but
I just
anger,
realized it was just 1 month.
it's listen, listen. Anger is a healthy response to injustice. But here's the difference: anger can either fuel change or burn you out. The
Mm,
key is to channel that anger into something productive. First, recognize that your anger doesn't have to define you, and it doesn't have to drive your every action. It's okay to
mm,
feel angry, but don't let it consume you. One of the biggest things that people can do in this environment is to respond with love and understanding. I know y'all like, what? Love. Okay, even in the face of hatred. That's not to say that you should ignore injustice. Absolutely not. We're not taking no disrespect. No, that's not what I'm saying. But responding with love doesn't mean letting people off the hook. It means having the mental fortitude to stand firm in your truth without resorting to the same hatred or
mm,
divisiveness that others are sowing. Second, take your anger to the right places, whether that's through peaceful protests, community activism, or supporting policies that protect vulnerable populations, Black and Brown community, and our civil rights, um, people of the DEI. Your anger can drive you to stand up for what's right, but
Mm.
do so in a way that lifts up your dignity, the dignity of others, and upholds the values that we, as a people of faith, hold dear.
Mm. Yes, and that's where the mental fortitude comes in, right? It's not just about standing up, but doing so in a way that reflects our deepest values.
Exactly. And this is where faith truly plays a role. When we remember that God is in control, we can rest in the confidence that no matter what happens, our purpose is greater than the momentary chaos we might be facing. The work we're doing, the stand we're taking, it's all part of a larger story that is unfolding, and we're
Mm.
part of that story. Faith keeps us grounded in our purpose. It helps us know that even when we face adversity, God is still on the throne. The battle is not ours alone. He is with us, guiding our steps every step of the way.
Yes, that is powerful, Dr. Naima. Thank you for that reminder. It's easy to get caught up in the immediacy of fear and anger, but you're absolutely right. Faith is what anchors us. So, as we wrap up today's conversation, what's one piece of advice you would leave us with our listeners who are feeling overwhelmed by the current state of the world?
So I would say, don't let the darkness of the world overshadow the light within you. I'll say it again. Don't let the darkness of the world overshadow the light within you. Yes, there are real challenges, and yes, there are things that need to change, but you have the strength to persevere, to fight for justice, and to hold on to your faith. Every day we're faced with choices. Choose to stand firm in who you are and God and who God says you are. Trust that no matter what happens in the world, He still is the Alpha and the Omega. And when you stand in His power, nothing can take you away from your peace or your purpose. Walk in that. Be victorious in that. Take the stand that you're supposed to stand and take action consistently.
Beautifully said, Dr. Naima. Thank you so much for having me here today to co host your podcast. And thank you so much for your profound wisdom. I know our listeners will leave this episode feeling more empowered and grounded and hopeful.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to have a voice. I'm so grateful to have a platform to use my voice. I'm so grateful because, I want to encourage others. I want others to know that we all have a part, whether
Mm.
even if we sweep, that's our part. If we stand in line and we're supposed to march, that's our part. If we're supposed to be um, fighting for a political seat, that's our part. We all have a part, and we must do it, and we must do it consistently. And doing it as a one, as a people, to together is the way. It's been an honor for you being here with me, Steffi. Watching you grow up, like it's a joy to be able to share this platform with you as you were able to lead this so eloquently. So I appreciate you. Make sure you all please follow us on YouTube, Dr. Naeema Giving Hope, and on Instagram at Dr. underscore Naeema underscore and at Giving Hope LLC. Y'all stay tuned for the next episode next week. We're going to jump back into neural insights with Dr. Naeema, but we're going to have some more of these talks because it's very imperative in these times.
Mm. Thank you, Naima. I really enjoyed today. I actually learned a lot through this podcast myself while talking to you. So I'm grateful for this opportunity. To all our listeners, remember you are not alone in the face of fear, anger, or uncertainty. And knowing that you can find strength in your faith and your action. Keep moving forward with courage, knowing that God is with you every step of the way. Until next time, stay strong, stay grounded, and keep standing for what's right.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Y'all be
Thank
blessed
you
and
so
continue to be
much.
a blessing. We're going to open up the floor for any questions or any comments. If there are any questions or comments, we'll stay on for a second. Stay on
Oh,
for a
okay.
second. Let's see. Thank you so much for tuning in with us live. And for those that will watch this, please share, please share, please share. We don't have any questions right now, but you guys can always drop it in the space below on Instagram and on YouTube as we post it, okay? Y'all be blessed. Continue to be a blessing. Thank you so much for this, and keep spreading love, and keep taking a stand and walking in your purpose in this time. All right? Take care.
Yeah. Okay.